of sports. Football was always a big thing in Cincinnati. We only have two major franchises, the Reds in baseball and the Bengals in football, and so the Bengals were a huge part of my life. And so I know people on the internet sometimes make fun of me and my obsession with the Bengals, but it's a familial thing. It's actually crossed over to my wife, who is now completely obsessed with the Bengals, possibly more than me. She's a bigger football fan now than I ever anticipated. I'll tell you a story that starts out funny and cute and then ends really sad. I don't know, if there aren't any football fans, they watched potentially the Bengals wild card playoff loss this year, and you don't need to have seen it to understand. I'll tell you, the short is that there's an Ohio sports curse that LeBron James broke a few days ago that now is going to get better, but there's an Ohio sports curse where things don't end the way we want them to, so the Bengals are about to win, right? All we have to do is just run the clock out, and amazingly, the guy on our team fumbles the ball, the other team gets the ball, they go down the field, they win, we lose. But then in that moment, where it looked like we were going to win, I watched my wife, who did not give a shit about football the year prior, hugging strangers in the crowd and high-fiving people, and I started crying. I legitimately started crying. I know, it's sad. It's even more heartbreaking when you consider the fact that my tears of joy lasted about 90 seconds and then they lost. That's the worst. Because at least if I start crying about a football game and they win, it's justifiable because they won. A little bit. When I started crying about a football game that they might have won, they still lost. So in this second, my wife is hugging a stranger, I'm crying, and my parents are high-fiving. And then they lost the game. I don't know why I told you that. You guys got to win a Super Bowl, so I want you to know how it feels. How it feels to be a different team in orange. Hey, at least we had a quarterback who could throw a spiral, right? That's okay. Oh, come on. That was a defensive win. We all know your defense is fucking amazing, but that was ridiculous. I'm not hating, it's just the truth. I can't throw a very good spiral either. Me and Peyton are the same. I don't know if that means that you think very little of me or that you think very highly of him. The response is, oh! Does that mean I'm really shitty? I don't know what. I think it means that I'm really shitty. Anyway, I'm done talking about football now. I apologize for those of you who don't care. You had to sit through that. Again, I'm just ruining your evening. It was nice to learn about me crying, right? That was a good moment for everybody. I didn't know that I was ever going to share that with anybody until just now. Did I tell you that one, Bob? Did you know about that? No?
No, I have something to
You can project your voice a little bit more.
No, I didn't know that.
There you go. You gotta talk with authority, Bob.
I know. I was just wondering, did you continue the tears after they lost?
No. Do you want to do a question of after they lost?
Yeah.
Here's what's worse. It's A, raining when the game's over. It's raining, they lost. And B, we parked it where my dad works, which is like a mile and a half away, so we would walk uphill. There's always this next year coming up, man. You know, well, I just want a playoff win, man. That's all I care about. That would be fantastic. I'm not greedy. You have to understand, the year that I was born, the Bengals went to the Super Bowl and the Reds won the World Series, and then I was born, and then nothing ever happened. That's it. They did not won a playoff game in my entire life. You know how fucking terrible that is? To be a fan of a sport where they can't, it's fucking, anyway, that's how you guys doing up there in the sitting on your cell phone section? I just call it the sitting on your cell phone section because it's oftentimes people that came with someone to the show and don't necessarily care. But I'm not saying you don't, but there's many people in the upper section of shows most nights who are just this. And that's okay. It's complete, don't boo. People can look at their fucking phone, I don't care. I'm just saying it happens. It's okay. I like to acknowledge and say I like you too. I'm not gonna get mad. People look at their phones. I'm old enough to have played shows before people just watch their shows through a phone.
Yes.
And it was weird because people used to make fucking eye contact with you on stage. Now, not so much. Now, a new technology that's arrived is that people will use the front camera, and when they're close like this, they will show me on their phone. Which, ladies and gentlemen, you may think would be something that would upset me, but you've underestimated my ego, is what I'm saying. You've underestimated how much I like me, because you have to understand that in those moments, I'm literally dancing with myself. Perfectly timed.
They were like all the way over here. I had to like.
Oh, your little fucking T-Rex arms skipping naked over there. Every night, if that ever comes up, people cheer for the idea of T-Rex arms. It's an exciting thing. So, like I said, I'm having a fantastic year so far. Big changes in my life, but at the beginning of the year, the way that this calendar year started, or last summer, the way things ended for me were kind of difficult. I had a friend of mine pass away who worked for Black Veil Brides, a guy named Chris Holly, who was a really good friend of mine, and someone who, a very artistic and interesting person, a true musician and a fantastic human being, and unfortunately he passed away before I could make this record. So I wrote a song about him. It's called Beautiful Pain, and we're going to play it for you. Here's Phil. Drink as much water as you can before you come to a show. I never understand. People just don't drink enough water. Drink more water. Pepsi's not water. Drink more water. In this room, please validate that you'll go home and have an actual, just regular ass water. I'm officially no longer even a little bit rock and roll. I used to be when I was younger. But now I'm advocating that the audience go home and drink water. That's it's done. Gone were the days of Andy holding a bottle of Jack Daniels in the photo. Now I'm just advocating people go home and drink healthy water. I like it that way. I'm much happier. I genuinely like being on stage on this tour every night. I'm having a blast. When I first did it the first night, I'm not afraid to admit, I actually was very nervous about being on stage with different people and doing this whole different thing. And wearing these suspenders. I didn't know how I was going to I've really lucked out. These two gentlemen on stage with me, though, I tease occasionally, are both fantastic human beings, and I'm having so much fun with them on this tour. So please give it up for them again if you can. I'm enjoying this tour. It fell at an unfortunate time for me. As I said, I recently got married. I got married 2 months ago. How long do you think I've been on this tour? 2 months. Which means that almost immediately after my wedding, I had to go on tour, which means that I didn't get to do the honeymoon yet, I didn't get to do all that stuff, and I missed my wife when I'm on tour. So, I wrote a song about her, and I'm going to play it for you right now. It's called Paint It Black, and I hope you enjoy it. There's a chance to set us free. much support from you guys for me and my wife, and these drawings and wedding gifts and stuff. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It truly is. You know, I talked about it before in the show, but it's indicative to me of a big change in my life. About last year when I was on tour, I just felt like I wasn't myself. I felt like I hadn't been myself for a long time, and I was sick of not feeling like myself. And a big part of that was because I had these things. When I was a kid, I fought with a lot of different demons, stuff that I think many people in this room have dealt with, fears and anxieties, and I could never really, well, one thing I realized is I had a lot of difficulties with ever being alone, because when I was alone, the issues and thoughts that I had and all the fears and anxieties that I had would come to the forefront. And so to counteract that for many years, I would put myself in these scenarios where I would drink excessively, or I'd be out, or I'd do all these things to try to make sure I was never really alone. And it got to me. It took its toll on me, and I didn't feel emotionally like myself anymore. And it felt like it was time to make a huge change. And when I did that, I felt better. I'm not trying to stand up here and preach to you guys or whatever it is. I just want you to know that as a person who's been in front of you since I was a teenager on stage, it's meant a lot to me to have the opportunity to grow up, and it's meant a lot to me to have the opportunity to mature. And this last year of my life has been a huge change for me, and I thank you so much for supporting me in all of it, and supporting me through all the different changes and the different style of music and everything else. It means a lot to me to have you all here, and to have you guys hear my songs and sing with me. It means the world to me, so thank you so much for that. In the state of the world that we're in right now, and obviously the things that happened in Orlando, the horrible nightclub shooting, as well as the poor girl that was shot, who was the singer, it's difficult sometimes to think about being at a show and feeling like you might be unsafe. When I was a kid, the safe haven that I had was to go to a show or to some place that I felt like I was part of a community. And unfortunately, where we're at sometimes, that's not always the case. And I just want to say that as Americans, regardless of anything, I think it's our duty to make sure we look out for one another and to keep each other safe. And so I just want to say that, you know, this next song that I'm going to play, while I wrote it about myself and I wrote it about going through those difficult times and rising out of them, I know that the title of the song is very evocative, and I know people have taken it and used it in many different ways, and that's one of the beauties of writing a song, is that I can write a song and it can be a thing that you guys take it and have it mean what you want it to mean for your life. But right now, if we could, let's just take a moment as all of us in this room to think about how fortunate we are to have what we have, and to try to reflect on the things that people have lost in those poor victims and families of the victims. This song is one that evokes a lot of different emotions in people. People listen to the song and they think, oh, Andy must be depressed or whatever else. And the reality is that at some point in my life I was. At some point in everyone's life we were. This song is about getting out of that, and it's called Put the Gun Down. For those of you who are fans of my band, or you're fans of just this or whatever it is, I want to say thanks for taking the journey with me on something different. Appreciate you guys coming out. I hope you enjoyed yourself so far. I hope you've had a good time tonight. When I was 20 years old, we were working on a record called Set the World on Fire. And James, my guitar player, has this... Is he here right now? He's very sneaky. He could be hiding under the drums. You never know. I mean, I'm serious, he could be. He's very weird. He's a fantastic human being who is definitely sneaky enough to hide behind things. I love him too. He's my brother, I'm not talking shit, I'm just saying. He wears a giant leather dick piece thing, so. You've seen it. I'm not being profane, you've seen it. It's on some of your t-shirts tonight. You didn't think about that, did you? Black Veil shirts in here? There's definitely at least one shirt that has that whole thing on it. I think they call it codpiece, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize to everyone I offended. The other night someone yelled something at me. I'm going to go off on a tangent here, absolutely. Someone yelled something at me that was ridiculous, and I responded to them. And then I found out later that person's parent asked for their money back. Can I share with you what was yelled at me? Take your dick out! think that's my fault. And I want to say here and now, for the other people in the audience, please stop yelling sexually profane things at me while I'm on stage. I know that's the way it goes in your fan fictions, but for real. A grown-ass man standing on stage just having children yell sexual things at me is weird as hell. You thought about it? Think about it, for real. It is, thank you, whoever said that. It's a generational thing, I think. I don't know. When I was a kid, I would have seen that like Social Distortion or something. I never thought. You can cheer for it. I'm a Social D fan. But I went to concerts as a kid. I never looked at my desk and was like, hey, take a dick. I'm 13, take a dick. I guess I wouldn't be because of sexual orientation, but it's even still. Even if I were a teenage girl, I don't imagine myself doing that. Maybe it's just a generational thing. Maybe it's because children are writing stories on the internet about like me as a wolf having sex with someone. So before you check on me, parents in the room, please pay attention to your children's internet browser history. Because in a couple songs I'm going to pretend like I'm leaving and then you're going to do that and I'm going to come back. It's called It's weird shit. I just gave away the whole secret. What the fuck is happening with the lights, by the way? What the shit was that? Did you do that? Was that like a hurry up and do another song thing? It's like the walk-off music at an award show. I'm like, he's said enough shit now. Another weird thing, I'm just gonna go over it. Some of you might notice that I have a lozenge in my mouth when I sing. I've been sick on the road, so the lozenge helps me. I spit them out fairly often when they're getting too small because they would go down my throat if they get too small. If I spit them out, and I feel like this goes without saying, don't pick it up and put it in your mouth. Look, that reaction is warranted. However, Chicago had a different feeling. Not the whole city of Chicago, just some children, we'll say it that way, I assume. In any event, if I spit anything out of my mouth, don't put it into your mouth. I feel like we as people in this room have established that. Through being people who have made it into this room and not being hit by a car outside from natural selection or whatever, we've made it in here. Not to put weird shit from my mouth into their mouth. Especially since I'm sick. Thank you. That's why I had to unfortunately say, don't put shit in your mouth from my sick mouth. Unbelievable. Especially you, Bo. You gotta stop that shit. Bo got me sick in the first place. Did I tell you that? Not from me putting shit in my mouth for him, but he got sick like 2 weeks ago. We live in Boston, the air is circulated. So Bo was really the reason that I've been struggling with the last couple of shows. How's your little angel now stage look up? Look at his little hands. Hands look like mushrooms with fingers coming out of them. So cute. He has the littlest hands. I don't even know. How do you pick up like soap or anything? It doesn't keep sliding out of your hand. What?
I said, I think someone thought that was a prison joke. They were like,
oh, right, yeah. Bo and I haven't been to prison together.
yes.
What do you mean, yes? What kind of plans do you have? I hope none of them involve soap. I just said soap. That's not like a divisive thing. Oh, soap. So, because I don't know how to transition back into things, Jinx was writing a song, and he was working on an orchestral piece, and and we didn't really know what to do with it. He gave it to me, and I went into the lounge of the studio, and I started writing a song that I felt like was a love letter to the BBB Army, to the people who had been supportive of me over the years. And so, we're going to play that now. That was an example, DC, don't put it in there. We're going to play that song now, and I hope you recognize it. If you do, I'd like you to sing it with me. It'll be fun. We'll sing it together. Josh, go play the fun song.
Take this burden on and become the Holy One. But remember, I am human and I'm bound to sing.
so much. Thank you for saying my name a whole bunch of times. It really is weird, the idea of encores in general. There's no other place in life that this applies. Like, you're not at lunch with your friend and you're both mutually enjoying it. Like, I'm having fun up here, and you and your friend are enjoying yourselves, and in the middle of lunch, they just leave. And the only way that you can get them to come back to lunch is Brittany. We have to finish. So I lied to you and said that we were done, and I don't know why I did that, just because that's the rules of the show, is to pretend that I'm done, and then you say my name a whole bunch of times, and then I come back and we play another song. So, I appreciate it. Thank you. We did everything well together tonight. I've had so much fun. You guys have been fucking great. You've laughed at my stupid jokes and stuff. You shared in my pain of a Bengals defeat. There's very few cell phone people tonight. That's fantastic. I'm having fun all the way around. I don't want to leave. But I'm going to, unfortunately. I have to go to Salt Lake City and play a show there. What do you care? Why are you hating on Salt Lake City? We did the show here. I've got no more songs to play. I've got one more, but it's not like I ripped you off. I know it's not like I'm playing a bunch more songs. It's not true. It's not good. There should be no territorialism. I like it here. I'm enjoying it here. I like it here. I'm happy to be here. Have you never decided to make one weed joke at all? Is that welcome? Is that what you're... I'll tell you why I don't like to make a weed joke, because I can't smoke weed. I literally cannot. I just start vomiting if I try. This is such a sad thing for like a teenager to learn about himself. I tried to weed the first time as a teenager, vomited for like a day. And then when I was like 20, I tried it again, like, surely that's not real. And I started vomiting violently in the middle of the street. Except unfortunately this time I was dressed as Batman. It's not that great. It's not that great to be in a skin-tight batsuit vomiting all over yourself. So anyway, I don't smoke weed, so I couldn't